Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I can't freaking believe it. It's literally the same guy. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. And obviously, I have to tip my hat to the internet, because as we know, the internet is undefeated. The collective hive mind, that is the online community, always makes the connection, always finds the receipts, always ends up getting to the truth, to the bottom of it. And I guess in this case, it's no different. Remember that German politician, well, it was a group of German politicians, but this guy in particular, who laughed at Donald Trump back in 2018 when he rightfully warned them about being too dependent on Russian oil? Well, that same smug bureaucrat who rolled his eyes at President Trump back then is now literally crying on camera, and you just won't believe the reason why. Is he crying because Trump was absolutely right and Germany wrecked its own energy sector and is now begging for gas while their economy collapses? Nope, not even close. This grown man is sobbing because JD Vance told them to stop censoring people online. I mean, you literally cannot make this stuff up. Continued absolute embarrassment for these German politicians. Let's have a conversation about what happened. Let's have a conversation about the German government, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, so let's first start off with the context. JD Vance showed up at this elite globalist clown show and straight up took it to these European regimes that are cracking down on free speech in the modern Western world.
I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. The British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person, but no. This last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
And of course, JD Vance is right, and he really didn't say anything that should be that big of a cause for concern, but apparently, it drew this reaction from that same German politician who laughed in Donald Trump's face all those years ago.
Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
How weird is that? The guy just started sobbing mid-speech, couldn't even speak. And now, firstly, I'd like to point out how this guy is seemingly so sensitive, so compassionate, but I guess he wasn't sensitive enough or compassionate enough to show President Donald J. Trump back in 2018 some damn respect. But anyways, his reaction is so telling. For him, free speech is dangerous. For him, telling the truth is a crime. And in his seemingly twisted authoritarian brain, he thinks he's like the main character or some sort of superhero fighting against and silencing evil fascists that are now threatening the Western world. It's just so hard to wrap my head around. And that's why all these people are there clapping like a bunch of damn seals. Just a very odd display, but one thing is absolutely certain. Germany, clearly, and the EU hasn't learned from history. I think they're just switching from one brand of authoritarianism to another, from fascism to technocratic fascism. And Germany is really spearheading, really leading the charge here. They have completely lost the plot. If you thought what was going on in the UK was bad, well then let me tell you, it is 10 times worse in Germany. Now, I know if you listen to the Lincoln Project, guys, that's total fake news. And actually, there's more free speech in Europe than there is in America.
Vance came there daring to lecture Germany, one of the most free countries on earth when it comes to expression, where America is now rated 55th in the world on freedom of expression, it was appalling.
But that is so completely, so patently false. And 60 Minutes, conveniently enough, probably accidentally or inadvertently totally exposed how untrue that statement is. The German government is out here raiding people's homes, not for terrorism, not for violent crimes, but for posting memes, or for insulting people in public, or insulting people online, which apparently is an even worse crime. Now, I'd really like to play some of these CBS clips for you, but unfortunately, CBS is notorious for copyright claiming any channel that posts any of their content, regardless of whether or not fair use applies. It's very frustrating. But honestly, I'm just going to continue the video operating under the assumption that you guys have seen these clips, because they're going viral all over social media. But yes, trust me, I'm not exaggerating anything. Fully armed, almost like SWAT team operations, raiding people's homes for posting offensive memes. And at one point, CBS News was interviewing a German prosecutor who literally said exactly what I was just telling you. It is a crime in Germany to insult someone in public, and it's a worse crime in Germany to do it online because supposedly there it lives forever. In other words, no dissent allowed. You're not allowed to call any politicians on social media any mean names. They've completely lost the plot. And I just gotta say one thing, slippery slope. And well, it seems as though they're already sliding down that slope at record frickin' speed, because when you actually look at what they're calling racist memes, it gets even more ridiculous. Take Marie-Therese Kaiser, who allegedly was charged and fined 6,000 euros for simply posting crime statistics about migrants. Literal facts backed by government data. This is what your home gets raided for, and you get arrested and set in front of a judge to be hit with a 6,000 euro fine in Germany now. And let me ask you, do you think it's a coincidence that all of these raids are happening right before an election? Is it a coincidence that this crackdown comes as the media is panicking about the AfD party surging in the polls? Of course not, because this isn't about racism or hate speech. This is political suppression. They're essentially using police state tactics to silence anyone who challenges their narratives. Kind of reminds me of Germany about 80 years ago. And that's what JD Vance was challenging, and that caused one of their politicians or diplomats to straight up start sobbing as a full-grown adult in front of a whole group of adults sitting down. I don't even know what to make of it. And to be honest, just to show you how crazy it is, I'm literally scared to go to Germany. I'm never going there. Ever. Never. I've covered all kinds of statistics, and I've made all kinds of public opinions online. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna be detained by their customs officers if I fly in or transit through the nation? It's a complete dystopian nightmare, and it should be absolutely challenged. And good thing that the Trump administration is doing it, and honestly, shame on the American media that seems to be defending this stuff. Again, going right back to CBS News, that seemed to make the argument in an interaction with Marco Rubio that free speech supposedly somehow led to Nazi Germany.
He was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about the right.
What? How completely insane is that? The First Amendment, free speech is literally the foundation of a free society. The First and Second Amendment are the two most powerful tools against fascism. And now seemingly the mainstream media, European governments, and even the left at large, I'd say, are taking the opposite side. And the most hypocritical part is that these are the people who are saying they're safeguarding and protecting democracy and fighting against fascism. They are the fascists, pure and simple, and no amount of crocodile tears and pretend outrage will convince me otherwise. What an absolute disgrace. I mean, I never thought that I would say these words, at least not in this day and age. I'm fearful to step foot in Europe, and especially Germany, because they might arrest me for a thought crime. That is wild. Straight out of George Orwell's 1984. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.